Hello data science scholars, how's everybody doing today? Great, so today we're going to be learning about KNN classification, which stands for K nearest neighbor. It's a supervised machine learning technique. So what that means is that we have data that we're using already to classify new pieces of data that we're putting in. So here, K is, it stands for the number of pieces of data close to the new piece of data that we're going to use to vote on what classification it should have. So here, K equals 3. The new piece of data is this red star. And we're determining should it be purple or yellow based off the 3 closest neighbors. So what do you think, Christina?
Purple.
Yeah, because how many pieces of purple did we have?
2.
Yep, and then how many yellow?
1.
And then we change the K nearest neighbors, the number they get to vote, to 6. What is the classification going to be for that star? Take a second to think about it. And now what do you think?
Yellow.
And how did you get there?
Well, there are more yellow than there are purple.
Yeah, absolutely. So KNN just basically looks at those nearest pieces of data to classify new pieces of data. And it's supervised because we're using an existing data set. So today we're going to learn how to do this in R. So we're going to be using the IRIS data set, Flower Machine Learning Power. And basically the IRIS data set is a famous data set that uses 3 different species of irises, which is a type of flower. And what it has 5 pieces of data. So we have the iris's sepal, which is this right here. We have its length and its width. And then we also have its petal right here. And we'll have its length and width. So it gives us 4 pieces of data. And then our 5th piece of data is what type of iris it is. So we have versicolor, setosa, and virginica. So we're going to come over to our R program now, right? And we're going to start looking. Yep. We're going to start looking at this to determine how can we use KNN, or K nearest neighbors, to classify pieces of data in R. So here we are. So we are going to first just look at our IRIS data set. So everyone in the classroom should have their R Studio open, and you should be having a new blank sheet. I already have some data up here that you can use to write out notes on what we're doing, but we also will put this online, so don't worry if you don't get all the coding syntax right now. So we're going to just run IRIS. It's already built into R. And you can see here, like we were saying, we have our sepal length, our sepal width, our petal length, and our petal width, as well as what type of iris species we are. So you can see here, and we can look at a table and a summary to get a better idea of what this might look like. So when you highlight an R and then click Run, you're going to get you're going to just run that specific those specific lines of code, right? So you see here we have setosa, versicolor, and virginica, and we have 50 of each. And in our summary, you're seeing what's your minimum, median, mean, and max for these different pieces of data, right? So now we're going to go into the part where we implement KNN. So we're setting the seed. We're using our library class, and right through here, we're going to set up our training data. So the training data, what purpose it serves is it's the data that's already plotted that we will then use when we put in new pieces of data to classify new pieces of data. So this is like the existing data. So we're going to run through here. And right now I don't have examples because I want to make sure we get through this algorithm, but we're going to spend more time with it later this week and on your homework. And then we're also setting up our test data set. And I guess one thing to point out here in the training set is we're doing a random chance. So we're going to use 2/3 of the data for training. And then we're going to use the remaining 1/3 of data to compose our test set that will then be predicting which classification should it be based off its sepal and petal lengths and widths. So we've run our training data. Now we're going to compose our test data. So here we are. I'm going to run. Again, I'll put this online. And then we're building out our model. So here we're actually using KNN. And you can see we're putting in our training data, our test data, and then we're using the training labels as well. So we're going to run this. Run through here. Right? So we're running this data, and then now we're going to conclude with testing and seeing how good was our KNN prediction based off the KNN model versus what was actually observed in real life. So now we're comparing our predicted, and this was predicted based off KNN, to our observed. And you can see it was pretty accurate. Now you guys can turn to your partners and work in groups kind of doing this on your own in your laptops. Thanks.